All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're laying out a complete guide, a roadmap really, for you to land your next big job in Indonesia. We're going to cover the entire process in English, from the moment you spot an opening to the day you ace that final interview.
You know, finding a job really is a quest, isn't it? It's this personal journey to find a role that just clicks with your skills and your ambitions. And our goal today is to hand you the map for that journey. So, let's take a quick look at the road ahead.
So here's how we're going to break it all down. We've got 5 key stages. We'll kick things off with the big picture, then jump into the nitty-gritty of finding and applying for jobs. After that, we'll focus on how to absolutely nail the interview, and we'll wrap up with those crucial cultural details that can make all the difference.
First up, let's set the scene a little bit. Indonesia's job market? It's one of the most exciting and dynamic in all of Southeast Asia. It is just buzzing with opportunities in tech, e-commerce, you name it. But to get a shot at the very best of these jobs, there's one skill that's become absolutely essential.
And that skill is English. Seriously, in the top companies, both local and international, English is pretty much the main language now. It's totally shifted from being a nice-to-have skill to being the absolute key that unlocks the door to the most exciting jobs and the best career paths. Okay, so you've got the English skills and you're ready to put them to work. The first big question is, where do you even start looking? Let's build a smart, practical search strategy right now. Pretty much your entire search is going to be online, so you'll want to focus your energy on these heavy hitters. Here's a way to think about it. Use JobStreet for those big, broad industry searches. If you're into the startup and tech scene, Glints is your go-to. And then there's LinkedIn. You have to treat LinkedIn as your digital headquarters. It's so much more than a job board. It's where you build your personal brand that gets recruiters to notice you. Now here's a tip to save a ton of time. Learn to read a job ad like a recruiter does. The job description? That's the why. It's the core problem the company is trying to solve. The responsibilities section is the what, your day-to-day tasks. So really look for those action verbs. And the requirements? Well, that's your checklist. If you see minimum experience, that is the absolute baseline they're even gonna consider. All right, you found the perfect role. Now for the really important part, creating the documents that are gonna get your foot in the door. Think of your CV and your cover letter as your personal marketing campaign.
Okay, here's a super important local tip that you need to know. Unlike in a lot of Western countries, putting a professional, friendly-looking photo on your CV isn't just common in Indonesia, it's pretty much expected. Just a simple headshot, clean background, and yeah, a little bit of a smile doesn't hurt.
Now this is a big one. You'll see a lot of older CVs with tons of personal information. But things are changing, especially with modern and international companies. They only want professional info. So I'd say it's best to leave out the sensitive stuff and just focus on what really matters: your professional email, your phone number, and of course, your LinkedIn profile. This is probably one of my favorite tips because it's so simple but so powerful. Don't just list what you were responsible for. Instead, show what you actually achieved. Use strong action verbs. Did you manage a team? Did you increase sales? And if you can, put a number on it. Increase sales by 20% sounds way more impressive than just responsible for sales. It's a no-brainer, right?
I know. The cover letter can feel like such a huge task. But trust me, this simple 4-paragraph structure is a total lifesaver. You start with an intro, then a paragraph about why you're a perfect fit, then one about why you love their company specifically, and you wrap it up with a clear, confident conclusion. It's a winning formula.
So, you did it. Your application was awesome and you've landed the interview. That is huge. Now let's get you ready for what comes next, because the interview process in Indonesia can have a few unique stages. So it's really important to know that this isn't usually a one-and-done thing. It's more of a journey with a few key stops. After your CV gets screened, you'll often hit this stage called the psycho test. From there, it's usually an interview with HR and then a more technical one with your potential boss. Only after all that do you get to the final stop, the offer letter. Knowing these steps helps you manage your expectations.
All right, let's pause and talk about this one, the PICO test. Now, if you've never heard of it, don't worry. It's basically a standard psychological test they use here to check out things like your logic skills, some basic math, and just to see if your personality vibes with the company culture.
And you might be wondering, why is this so common? It's pretty simple, actually. For popular jobs, companies get a massive number of applications. The psycho test is just an efficient way for them to screen a huge group of people for a basic fit. So really, don't be intimidated by it. It's just a standard part of the process here.
Okay, the moment of truth, the interview itself. And I can almost guarantee you one of the very first things they'll say is, "So, tell me about yourself." It sounds so simple, right? But your answer is so important because it sets the whole mood for the rest of the chat. So how do you nail it?
The trick is to use the past, present, future formula. It's so good. You talk a little about your past experience that's relevant to the job. Then you connect it to your present skills that make you the perfect person for the role. And then you pivot to the future, which is all about why you want this specific job. It's a perfect 90-second story about you.
And then comes that question. So, what is your greatest weakness? Everyone hates this one, right? But here's the secret. It's actually a golden opportunity to show that you're self-aware and proactive.
So here's the game plan. Be honest, but be strategic. Pick a real weakness, but not something that's a deal breaker for the job. Maybe public speaking or getting bogged down in details. Acknowledge it and then, and this is the most important part, explain exactly what you're doing to get better at it. That last part is the magic key. It turns a potential negative into a huge positive.
And please, please remember this. An interview is a two-way conversation. When they get to the end and ask, "Do you have any questions for us?" your answer should always be yes. Preparing a couple of smart questions shows you're not just looking for any job. You're genuinely interested in this job, and you're taking it seriously.
All right, we are so close. We're in the home stretch. You've got the application down. You know how to handle the tough interview questions. Now let's talk about the final touches, the cultural details that will make sure you leave an amazing impression.
Look, all of these little tips really boil down to one big idea in Indonesian professional culture: respect. You show it by using formal titles like Bapa and Ibu. You show it by dressing professionally. It's always better to be a little overdressed than underdressed. And you show respect for their time by being punctual, which really means arriving about 10 or 15 minutes early.
And that's our roadmap. You now have the map, the tools, and the strategies. So the only big question left is for you. What's the very first step you're going to take today to move your career quest forward? Are you going to polish up that LinkedIn profile? Practice your "tell me about yourself" answer. Whatever it is, the quest for your dream job begins with that one small step. You've got this. Good luck.